clutch our pearls and laugh again. We all gather round, Kathy has a story to tell, our favorite comedian. Heifer, please, I don't have the free time unless you got the scoop again. Here for the gossip, rumor, and innuendo. I will live for today until the endless heaven buffet takes me away.
Hey there, true crime friends. Oh my goodness. Have we got a treat tonight? Dr. Patrice Berry is here at Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo to talk about this anger management therapist who unfortunately unalived her married preacher boyfriend and put a bullet in the shoulder of his wife. Hello, Dr. Berry. Hello.
Thank you so much I'm so glad. I needed to talk with you about it. And I've been following it with you. So anybody from my channel, if you have not checked out, Kathy does the best little quick updates, and I have her information linked right in the description of the video. But thank you.
You are so sweet and so kind. Honestly, from the very beginning, when I first heard about this case, I was like, this can't be real, and there's no way this is going to trial. For those who don't know, Latoshia Daniels was was she 39? I think she was 39, a 39-year-old social worker who has a PhD in social work. She also had several nonprofits helping youth, and she was doing all kinds of wonderful things in the community. She was a member of a very large church in her community as well. She was having an affair with the pastor down at the church. He broke up with her, and then she went to his house and filled him full of lead. That's sort of a very, very, very short version of a much longer story. And we'll get into it more tonight. But I was like, I need to talk to a therapist having watched this case between the tee-hees and the laughs and the giggles, because there's a lot to clutch your pearls at. But there's some really real, meaningful issues that have been brought up here. And so I was like, who better to talk about it than Dr. Patrice? What you got for us, Dr. Berry?
So
Therapize us.
I like to explain. So I am a therapist that just so happens to be a Christian. I describe myself as an extremely liberal, very, very liberal. And I got my degree from a university where I learned how to integrate ethics, and psychology and faith ethically.
Okay.
And because it sounded like Latasha wanted therapy, but she was scared, or she did not, according to her. And who knows? Because this is hindsight after years of getting to think about
6 years later, 6 years sitting in jail.
So now she's over here saying that, oh, I have all these things from my past, which could be true, but she did not get healing. And for me, one of my big things I like to tell people is helpers need help too. Because often social workers, therapists, doctors, nurses, people often get into those professions, firefighters, police officers, the military, they often have their own story. But you can't be out here trying to save people and you're drowning.
Right.
Because that will definitely cause problems.
I wonder, as I watch this case takes place in Memphis, Tennessee, between Little Rock, Arkansas, and Memphis, Tennessee. I live in suburban New Jersey, which is largely secular. I mean, people go to church, people go to mosque, people go to temple, whatever, their sort of whatever their house of worship is, right? People go to their house of worship, but it's not centered in people's identity the way it is. I grew up in Indiana, and here you might say to somebody, where do you live? And if somebody tells me what town they live in Bergen County, I immediately have a sense in my mind of who I think they are. Whether that's right or wrong, I'm like, oh, you live in that town. Okay, that means blah, 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 blah. When I was growing up, a common greeting instead of what do you do or where do you go to school was, what church do you go to? Who's your pastor? And so there's sort of this balancing act, right, between mental health and mental health professionals and your faith, whatever that identification is. Also in the Midwest, when I was there 33 years ago, people were so largely identified by their faith. And I don't know to what degree the faith piece plays a big part in it. I'm a heathen. So it's real funny to me to be like, girl, the preacher was smoking cigars and drinking liquor, the brown liquor. But like
And according to her,
realistically,
the head pastor, and I Googled his name, he's still the head pastor, knew about the affair. Yeah, I Googled it. It's too easy to do. She said the man's
yes.
name. She said his name on
Mhm.
the stand. And so I was sitting at my computer and I Googled him. And so we will definitely be getting into her testimony and into our thoughts about all those things. We are starting at kind of the update for today. You have done a great job breaking down this case, and oh, it is a mess. And there are parts of me that can understand that as like a Black woman, sometimes you do put on this, I have to mask what I'm really going through, or within a family, especially as a PK, as a pastor's kid, and
Yeah.
alleging that her pastor's stepfather was harming her mom, that there was DV
Right.
in the home when she was a child.
Right.
We do not know if any of this is true, because and so
Right.
he's deceased, and
Mhm.
I don't know if and I think she didn't, maybe she didn't want to drag her mother into it. I don't know, but nobody is confirming any of this to my knowledge. It's
Mm.
true, because to me, she woke up, she drives all this way to go buy the pew pew,
Right.
talks to him, arrives at the house, and she does the crime. And
Right.
she wasn't actively psychotic. She
Right.
wasn't like I think she was mad about a breakup. And
Mhm. I agree.
you can't do that.
I agree. And I think part of it was she had sort of this image in the community, right? She has this PhD, she's leading young people, and her story, if you didn't know her well, if you didn't know her interior life, it looks like this amazing, like she's the comeback kid. She got pregnant at 17. She, according to her, was forced to marry this guy she had a baby by. They had this marriage for whatever length of time. They had at least two children together because she kept referring to the kids and her boys and things like that. So they had a couple of kids and then he cheated or he did whatever. And she's like, divorce is a sin. I felt like a failure. Divorce is a sin. And I'm like, okay, so she's got some like unprocessed trauma there. But then she goes on, she gets her PhD, she's in school, she's helping others, blah, blah, blah. But now we find out on the stand today, she's in financial ruin because she's spending all of her money on this married man that is like saying, buy me this, buy me that, spend, 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 spend. She doesn't have insurance. She doesn't have enough to even like for her family to even bury her. Like, what's real?
Yeah.
She was masking a whole lot, not just her trauma, but in her current life.
And I think we can probably skip ahead to the psychologist that evaluated her.
Yes.
So she
Yes,
was
yes, yes,
evaluated
please.
by a forensic psychologist. And I just want to
Mhm.
clarify something I said, because somebody mentioned that the current pastor of that church is not the same one that left. It's the same one from 2018. But I Googled the person whose name she said, I Googled it. And so you can Google the name she said and see what
Ooh,
happens. And then
wow.
somebody else mentioned, so yes, all people can mask symptoms, but there is
Yes,
something that's really popular within the African American community called the superwoman syndrome, where you feel like you always
absolutely.
have to be okay, and
Yes.
that vulnerability is looked at as weakness. Brene
Mhm.
Brown does a phenomenal job talking about vulnerability. I love her work, and it's been helpful for all kinds of people. But what the psychologist did was she talked about her diagnosis, and she
Mm.
diagnosed her with major depression and then personality traits of borderline personality and dependent
Mhm.
personality disorder traits. So she didn't diagnose her with the full, because you have to meet certain criteria to meet criteria for the full diagnosis. She just said that
Okay.
he had some traits of borderline personality disorder and dependent personality disorder.
what are the what are the things we're looking for? If you look at if you as a therapist see
Yes.
a patient, for you to say, "Oh, this person has borderline personality disorder," like what are you looking for? What are sort of the hallmarks of having, because I've heard of borderline personality disorder. I know there's like different therapies and stuff that you can do that
Mhm,
address that specifically. And I
mhm.
used to be very good friends with a woman who said like, "Oh yeah, I'm borderline." And I was like, okay, like, I don't even know that I really know what that means.
Yes, yes. And, there's really some real telltale signs is there's this
Okay.
real fear of being abandoned, either
Mm.
real or imagined, so that the fear of being abandoned can often trigger or it can bring up thoughts of or the person, uh, making attempts or threats to themselves. Like
Oh,
that's one of the diagnostic criteria is are these chronic feelings of emptiness and then those self thoughts. So y'all, there's some words we can't say on YouTube, and this is one of them. But y'all know
mhm,
what I mean because they talked about it during her testimony, and then also the psychologist talked about it as well. That after her
mhm.
first divorce, she had an attempt. Now, somebody said that the attempt did it come out that it was ibuprofen? 'Cause somebody said that in my comments.
I
I'm
don't
just saying
know.
okay, good. So that was I don't so, I'm glad that you're gossip rumor and innuendo because somebody put that in the comments, and I don't know if it was if it was true.
Huh, no, I never
Yeah,
heard of a
yeah.
means or a method or anything like that.
Mhm. No,
I
me
just heard
neither.
that she had attempted
Yeah,
to, exit stage left
yeah.
and, that it was not successful. I wasn't even sure if it was just sort of she had the idea of it or if she
Mhm.
actually took steps towards something like that.
Yeah, and so it sounded like there might have but it didn't result in any hospitalization or treatment
Okay.
or anything like that.
Mhm,
Which doesn't necessarily mean that it wasn't, but it doesn't sound like she received any formal mental health treatment or therapy, and I think that that
mhm.
would have been really, really helpful for her. There's often
Right,
borderline personality disorder, you often see unstable relationships, but that
right.
feeling of emptiness so I often find that sometimes somebody with narcissistic traits and this is not true, this is my anecdotal, but somebody with narcissistic traits will often attach to somebody with borderline or dependent traits because that person, like,
Oh,
they are limitless supply. Because the person with the dependent personality or the borderline traits, they need to be loved by this person, and this person and the person with the narcissistic traits, they can, like, turn it on and off and because she was talking about buying him all these expensive things. She's paying for all of this travel and like and to me and so I never met him. I do not know, like this is not to downplay what happened, but if what she's saying is true, what I was hearing is it sounded like love bombing at the very beginning. Like the beginning was
for
hot,
sure,
passionate. The second meeting, like she didn't
for
even know
sure.
that according to her testimony, and once again, like, I don't know what's true and what's not because he's not here
Right,
to tell his side
right.
of the story, and so often, people with personality disorders typically have an insecure attachment style. That's characteristic, and then cluster B,
Wow.
it's often, um there's often some type of attachment issue.
I know people like this, right?
Oh.
Certainly when I was a lot younger, I had girlfriends who could not be without a boyfriend.
Mhm,
They had to have some guy, some person, so they would just sort of like cling on to these people like a barnacle. And without a partner, whatever that partnership looked like, no matter how healthy or unhealthy it was, they could not be without another person. And they would sort of monkey bar from person to person to person. And it always fascinated me, but the interesting thing was, particularly when I first moved to New York, right? I I was young, I didn't know anybody, and so I just was meeting, like, these other girls who were young and had just moved to New York and didn't know anybody, and I'd run into the same person in the diner all the time or at the coffee shop or, the corner store, whatever it was, right? And so I ended up becoming friends with this group of girls that were largely actresses and models. They were very, very beautiful, very thin. A lot of them were very tall, and they were all very white. Not every single one, but the majority of them. And they always had boyfriends, and they would go from one boyfriend to the next, to the next, to the next. And that's not that child. That was not where my gifts lied. So I assumed it was because I was short, I
Oh,
was black, I was fat, I was like whatever all the things were, right? P.S. We all ended up in 12-step recovery together where we got to be even closer friends. And then sort of everybody has since gone their own separate ways.
mhm.
But I watched a lot of these women go from like one 12-step guy to the next guy to the next guy. And I'm like, child, you know he's a hot man. Now we over here getting some therapy and getting our lives together. We doing step work, and him. And so I look at what's her name, Tasha and Brodus, and I'm like, him.
Why?
He just seems so dumpy and nerdy. I,
But I think
him.
it was that one time him listening. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It could have
yeah,
been just that first 2-hour session, but to me,
yeah,
if it happened the way she said it, she gave him, these are all the things my husband's not. These are all the things that I need. These are all the problems that I'm having. And then,
yeah,
oh, okay, if I give you these things,
yeah.
because
She was an empty vessel waiting to be filled, and he could literally put one drop of any kind of love in there. And she was like, "Give me more, give me more, give me more. I gotta have it."
mm,
She was so desperate for it, and she took the stand today, and she testified for a long time, and I was in the comments. I was over on Real Talk Bougie watching and living my best life, honestly. But I was watching and everybody was like, "Liar, she's terrible. This is awful. She was sleeping with that lady's husband." And maybe she lied about every single thing she said. And yes, she was sleeping with that lady's husband. At the same time, I believe a lot of what she said.
yeah,
I don't identify at all with that kind of behavior, that kind of reaction to it. The minute he wanted me to pay for something, I would have been like, "Oh no, 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 no. The love is gone. The
no.
love is gone." But I
And
know women
and
who've done
I didn't
much more to get much less.
And I didn't expect and I didn't so, like, if when my husband and I were dating, if he tried to buy me a $2,500 bike, like, I would, like I don't like, that would just now small gifts, sure, but,
Right, sure.
big things? Because to me, those things come with expectations, and it sounds
Yes.
like he was using her. Like, if that's
100%.
and she
100.
wanted to be valued, wanted to be loved, all of these things. And he was clearly out here because I don't believe she was the only one.
No way in the world. Well, they talked about Cherie, whoever Cherie was.
Okay.
And while they were together, he had a threesome for his birthday that did not include her and did not include his wife. Now, who was going after this man? I do not know. Have y'all
He
seen
he
him?
he probably had some charisma, and then also, you have to remember, sometimes in church, the anointing, like, if somebody is
Oh,
really, because to me, there's some gospel singers that I'm sure I don't know, but, like, I'm like or regular singers, because I look at them and I'm like, they're not attractive to me, but women love them, and so sometimes if
right.
somebody has, like, if they're really good at preaching, or if they like, sometimes that can make somebody look more attractive to
Mhm.
because I don't think pastors should counsel members one on one,
Yeah.
male
And
male
girls
or
with the
female.
girls, boys with the boys. Like, let's
And then, but, like,
break
what if
it
they're
up.
not boys though? So, like, you gotta be you got
Right.
so that's where it's like,
Right.
hey, let's do group, or let's send you to the counseling center. So my church has a
Yes.
licensed therapist because she didn't need spiritual guidance. She's over here with,
Mm-mm.
like, childhood trauma, major, history of dark depression thoughts and all. No, she needed to see
Mhm.
a licensed therapist.
For sure. And he's over here like, "Me and my magic stick can heal you right up. Let me just kiss you, and I'm going to be like Prince Charming and kiss all of your hurt away and kiss all of your pain away." She needed so much
I
more
don't
than
I
he
don't
had
know
to
that
give.
he cared if she was okay or not. I think he was likely
True.
only in it for what he could get, and might have even
Yeah.
seen her as an easy, because she, oh, oh, I wish my husband would say, when we go to a hotel room, you can't put on clothes. Sir? Now in a sexy, but like not in a like command, like you you can, and you get mad at me and treat me different if I have on clothes? Like that's just, but that's where I think the dependent side, and I think that's why, because it is a submissiveness and clinginess that's clinical.
Mhm,
And it's tied into
mhm.
that fear of being alone or being abandoned, and difficulty expressing disagreement or asserting your own needs, difficulty
Yeah,
making decisions without reassurance from others. And I don't have any of that. Like, no, like I don't need somebody else to tell
girl.
me that you can. Now, I have worked with people that have had traits like this, and often helping
Mhm,
them find their own voice was so important.
mhm, mhm. I mean, the minute he told me to download an app, like, okay, now that we've
I had
done the
never
do,
heard of that one. What
I
was
had
it?
never heard of that app either.
I
I
had
don't even
never.
it was
I
something it had a scandalous name, but
probably
I was just like, he gave her a reading list and made her download an app. I'm just not that compliant.
I
Like,
I
what?
liked his wife. His wife is more like me. Like, he was a nerd. He liked to read. Yeah, he probably asked me to read something, and did I? No. No, I didn't read.
His wife cracked me up. I have mourned more over Michael's not having the sock yarn that I liked, and that woman seemed to be mourning over her dead husband. And it's pretty clear that the ex-wife, I guess she was a widow for like a hot minute, has very clearly moved on with her life. She was just like, he's dead. They were like, oh, well, apparently they were having a relationship. She's like, well, apparently. Like, this is not a woman who is still mourning Brodus Perry. And then when the cameraman showed her hands and she already has a wedding ring on from another man, and her name is a whole different last name, I was like, yes, Miss Archie, come through. You don't have time for that mess.
Mhm.
Confide. Yes, the app was Confide.
Thank you.
Wish I would. And I got to open up a new email address too. No,
But,
no,
like,
no,
then,
no.
because there's no way that this is ethical non-monogamy, and the fact that he wanted to be
Right.
off in the streets, but his wife couldn't be,
Mm-mm.
like,
No.
because he.
I think he really got off on the idea that these women wanted him, were paying attention. It was all about his ego.
Yes.
And you better he charged up stuff on the credit card. Oh, well now, okay, I want you to pay the bill and you pay for your own travel. I wouldn't pay for my own dinner. I'm supposed to pay for my own travel and then be naked down to the hotel room. Oh, no, sir. No, 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 no. You got the wrong one. My friends used to say, "Oh, when I was single, they're like, "Oh, you're playing hard to get." I was like, "No, no, I am hard to get.
Thank
It's
you.
gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot."
I'm not on those, like, upper shelf. I'm not easy to get. No. Mm-mm.
Mhm.
I wasn't.
Mhm.
And people had you had to put in some work. And
Absolutely.
no red flags.
Absolutely.
There were major red flags. First of all, the fact that they were both married when they got together and in the church. So
I was gonna say
that
that
doesn't
church.
mean anything. That
Like,
does not mean anything.
so I think it's important that we talk
Yes.
about the relationship between, like, church, right?
Mhm.
Regardless of what the faith is, right? And sort of, and I think it's important, like, faith is not an important part of my life. It just isn't. And it kind of never has been, right?
Mhm.
And so for a lot of people in my family, it's a really big deal for them. And
Mhm.
while it's not so important for me, I can respect where it's important for somebody else.
Yes.
But sometimes I feel like, where does faith and common sense, like, I feel
Oh,
like I know
they
they
still
can
have
live side
eyes.
by side.
I don't believe faith should be blind. Does that make sense? Like, if my husband all of a sudden started, like, if he just, like, wasn't home, and, like, I don't know, like, if weird stuff started happening, I would start investigating, because
Yes.
I'm a nosy, like, I'm not just gonna, because I don't know if his wife suspected anything until that day, because I believe that
Mhm.
was the day she realized, "Oh, I think they were having an affair." Like, "Oh, wait
Mhm.
a minute, like, this got weird real fast." And then, so to me, even when Latasha was testifying, she seemed to come in and out of her emotions easily. Did you, like, she would be really
Yes.
upset, and then she would just get very factual and just start talking about what happened, and then her
Mhm.
emotions would kind of come up again. And
And at
I
one
don't
point she
know.
giggled. I was like, "Girl, ixnay on the Iggle gang. Like, you're not supposed to be giggling at your murder trial. That's not a
Mhm.
good look."
It was weird. But sometimes people use spiritual ideas to avoid dealing with difficult emotions, psychological wounds, or responsibility. And that's
Oh.
called spiritual bypassing. Spiritual
Ta
bypassing.
Say more, say more.
So, spiritual bypassing is where somebody will suppress their feelings. And so, to me, and that's where I think sometimes the church can be a little toxic, where it's like, I'm too blessed to be stressed. No, I'm stressed. I'm stressed. I do have some stress and I'm
Yeah.
managing it. I'm doing what I need to do. I love Jesus and therapy. Like, and
Yes.
that's okay. Because some people will be like, just pray harder. Just do, and
Mm,
that's where I think she was trying to address the spiritual, but she had significant mental health things that needed to be addressed, in my opinion, in a clinical way. Like, this wasn't spiritual.
for sure.
Spiritual counselors are not trained. Like, that's just like if you're confused about, like, is God okay with my divorce or something? Maybe. Like, maybe that's something, but like if your divorce was so bad that you're questioning like your worth and your identity, and you had these really dark thoughts and you're severely depressed, no, you need to talk with a licensed person. And
Yeah.
um I think she needed way more than just regular, and because I don't think he had any training in actual,
No.
because he was just a group leader. He was just a group leader.
Yeah, yeah. He didn't have training in anything, clearly. I mean, maybe he had training on how to, okay, here's the passage of the Bible that your Bible study group should be working on this week, but that's about it.
And I will tell you, one of my best friends, what happened,
Mm,
and so, I met up with her for lunch, and I was talking about something I was dealing with, and I was all boohoo crying, and she was like, "Oh," she listened to me.
mhm.
The next time I met with her, I started talking with her, I was all boohoo crying. She was like, "Girl, you need a therapist." And she was like, text me, like, you have until Monday to text me
Yep,
when your appointment is." And I
yep,
did. I ended up finding, and to me, and she was another licensed, therapist, and,
mhm.
'cause I wish one of the therapists in her life would have said, "Hey, girl, like, you need to talk to somebody." And
Yeah,
I was so thankful that my friend was honest with me and said,
mhm,
"This isn't like, you think you're dealing with this, but you need to talk
mhm.
with somebody that specializes in what you're dealing with." Because having kids, being married, dealing with
God.
stuff from childhood, like, that's hard. And
Yeah. One of the things that I always say to my friends who are struggling, because listen,
mm,
I'm a strong Black woman, but I will fall apart, not at the drop of a dime, right? Like I've been through some things, and I have some trauma, and I had some PTSD and all the things, right? And but I come from a place historically in my family, whatever, like in my life, in my regular life, I am a high achieving person. I was a high achieving person in high school and in college and all the things. And I felt like there was not room for me to fall apart.
mhm,
And so when I finally did fall apart and the wheels fell off everything, first of all, thank goodness I was very young. I had right next to nothing to lose. And thank goodness because I absolutely lost it all. But I had to sort of learn to rebuild a new life for myself.
mhm,
Right. And so when I'm talking to my girlfriends, it's not like not every single person I meet or whatever, but that close circle of girlfriends, I always say to them, like, make time to fall apart. Child,
mhm,
if you need to throw yourself in the floor and cry after you put them kids to bed or after you pack your husband's lunch and send him to work, whatever you're doing, it's okay to not be okay. And sometimes it's important to fall apart right here, right now, in this moment about this thing so that you're not bottling it up and it explodes someplace over there and somebody else who did nothing to you is not getting, splattered with all of your mess.
mhm,
One of the very important things to me when I make my videos in the morning, and yes, they're funny and whatever, because I do try and find the lighter side of things, but I am intentional about not looking perfect in my videos. I always have my glasses on. Until I started doing YouTube, no one who knew me had ever seen me in glasses because I'm extraordinarily vain. And I only wear my glasses at home. And my husband calls it the Kathy face because he said, only I get to see the Kathy face. It's me with the glasses. It's me with no makeup. It's uncommon for me to wear a bra. It's uncommon for me to be wearing clean clothes. 100%. If you see me making a video in the morning, I have had coffee. I have not washed my face. I've not run a brush through my hair. I have not brushed my teeth. And 9 times out of 10, I don't have no drawers on. So now you know. Like, I'm a mess. And I want it to be public so that other people can see you can be a mess and still do your life. And then I get up. And if some of my shorts, you see me, I'm in makeup, and people are like, oh, did you have on makeup? I'm like, child, you caught me in work drag. Like, the nice people of YouTube get the real messy me. Right? Because that exists too. It's not a different person, and I don't pretend to be somebody else. But if I'm falling apart, I'm like, I'm not I'll be on the members like, I'm not making a video today. It's a mess over here. I'm falling apart. It's human.
It really is. And that's why I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because I wish she had taken some time to realize her worth and her value. And I just want to say, even if
Yes.
all of her testimony was true, she described a crime, in my opinion.
Yes. 100%.
If you do that to somebody, a jury might decide whether or not that's first degree capital M. Like they just might. And so you can't do that. And yes, it's okay to not be okay. It's not okay to do crimes. Like, that's like, because to me, she's now ruined her life. Like, this impacts her children. This impacts all of these other things. Her trauma is now spewed on. And then his wife, who witnessed the death of
was shot.
Was shot. I'm sorry. I know. Like, how, and was
Those
shot.
neighbors
Oh,
who
so
saw it.
wait a minute. So did the wife describe? Did she really jump in front? Because I wish somebody would be trying to like, my husband's already shot. He's already like, well, I'm not. I'm not.
I'm gonna
jumping
miss him so much. I'm gonna mourn him so bad. Should I wear a tight dress to the funeral? Is it okay if I wear it low cut? I wish I would. Oh, I'm gonna miss you. Let's talk to Jesus, because
She said no.
I mean, the woman was pew-pewing up her husband, and I'm gonna throw myself over him so he don't get shot no more. What?
Who?
She a better wife than me.
I'm
She a
not.
better
I'm
wife
not.
than me.
I'm not that good. Now, my son, yes, but like, I love my husband. I love him.
Yes.
But like, somebody needs, like, my kid still needs a mom. Like, can we talk about this? Because I don't know what happened between y'all, but like, I'm not even gonna tell.
I can give me another husband. I can give me another husband. I'm not having no more babies. I'm old. I'm not having no more babies.
Get me another me. Like thank goodness she only got in the shoulder. Like, I'm not. So I am not ride or die. I am not. I'm not. I got questions. Like,
girl,
where are we going?
I'm gonna miss you real bad. I'm gonna miss you so bad. Oh, the way I'm gonna cry at that. You remember weeping Wanda from Good Times? Oh, Wanda, she was up there weeping and wailing, throwing her. I'm gonna throw myself on your casket. And because we have life insurance, I'm gonna go grieve in Tahiti. I'm not gonna lie. And my husband knows. He knows who he married. Yeah, girl, no. I'm not that wife. I'm not that wife.
Okay. I'm glad it's not just. That's why I need to talk to you about it. I need to talk to you.
Your friendly neighborhood heathen to go hook you right up. Because no.
I'm not. So for anybody that's listening, the wife jumped in front of him and said, "Oh no, stop!" And Latosha asked her to move. She said, "Move," and the wife didn't move, and so she pew-pewed her in the
shoulder to help her get out of the way.
That was she's wife of the year, wife of the century. I don't know.
For a man who is cheating on you. Now listen.
At this point, I now know something. Y'all went back there and talked, and now I know something's going on. And I just need for everybody to know not to suspect me, and I'm not in with you on it. Like that's all I need. because I'm gonna be a person of interest for a hot minute. The wife always is for a hot minute, but I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
uh-uh.
I'm gonna wait outside over
Because I
here
would have
behind the
rather got
neighbors.
alimony and child support. Like that's what I would prefer to have got.
Mhm, mhm. Like,
Mm.
no, 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 no.
I
And
agree.
he was I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
I don't know what he was telling his wife, but he was telling the girlfriend, "Ooh, I wanna explore being single for a while." Like, he was an ain't-ish man.
And
He mm-mm.
I wonder if did the wife talk about that they married young? Did that happen? No?
They weren't young. They didn't marry young. It was his 2nd wife. He
Oh,
was 30 he was 30, like
I
38 or
I wonder
39 at the time of his
he
death.
didn't stay single long. So, like, between I wonder how much time there was between first and second wife?
Yeah.
'Cause
Mm,
sometimes people don't put a lot of
yeah,
time in between.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I know that they asked her how long did she date, and she said about a year.
Okay.
And the thing that makes me wonder is if they were like deep, deep in the church. I know for a lot of church folk, it's important if you're
Not have
serious about somebody,
longer, but
if you're
they are.
dating with intention,
Yeah.
then go on and get married. We don't want you to sin by having,
Like learn about the person,
fornication.
see the red flags, avoid a divorce.
Right.
You can.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just
Um,
like, mm-mm,
and
mm-mm. She's a
my personal thing, try to not date people that aren't legally divorced, like, because sometimes when people start dating, they're separated from their first wife, and,
yeah.
um
He's not worthy of you. I tell my friends, "Well, I met this dude and there's these 12 red flags, but aside from those red flags, girl, he is not worthy of you. He's not.
Mm.
He's
Oh,
not. You might be look, I think it was Iyanla Van Zant who says you partner at the level of your self-esteem.
ooh,
I also have added you are employed at the level of your self-esteem. Now, in this day and age, I know times are hard out there.
okay.
So it's like, it's a little bit sliding scale. And maybe you get a job right now, your self-esteem will get better later. But in terms of being partnered, as soon as I heard you're partnered at the level of your self-esteem, the way that hurt my feelings and the way I dumped the loser that I was with when I heard that, I was like, oh, he gotta go.
Nice.
He gotta
And
go.
so I'm thankful. So me and my husband, we were set up. Like if we
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
So a family friend knew him. She talked to my mom. So I kind of had it wasn't arranged because we met each other and we decided we liked each other. We dated, all of that.
Right.
But I was not picking good people. So I have some compassion. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I entertained a guy. He had, I think, 2 baby mamas. He had 2 kids, 2 baby mamas. Yeah. But like I was just talk like I got free food. Like we would just go, we would just talk. He he paid for my lunch. I was in
Okay.
graduate school.
Okay.
My mama's in the chat. Johnny Lloyd is my mama. She did
Oh,
not like him. She let him come over to her house. She was because she was praying him out. She was like, this is not it. This is not nothing wrong with
look,
somebody with 2 baby, but he ended up with 3 baby mamas by the time I was like, I don't think we should talk anymore. Like,
mm-mm,
let's not be friends.
mm-mm. I
He had
I
and it
dated
wasn't me. It wasn't me. My mama said
I
prayer.
dated every I dated every loser in the tri-state area because the rotation of terrible men that I dated, including one that I met in the supermarket, and he was single and I was single, and he was real nice and he wanted to take me to dinner, and I was broke, not just like a little bit broke, like broke,
Free
broke.
food.
And he said, "I know you don't even know me. Bring one of your girlfriends." And so I took my girlfriend and he took us to the Blue Note. I don't even know if the Blue Note is still open, but it was a jazz club in somewhere in Lower Manhattan, and we had shrimp cocktail. Girl, you couldn't tell. I was like, well, clearly this gonna be my husband because now I'm eating shrimp cocktail out of one of them glasses that is shaped like this, and the shrimp were on the edge, and it was ice and stuff. I was just like, oh, he's fancy. And when he left that night, he dropped me off, me and my girlfriend back off at my house. He had asked me to hold his wallet because it wouldn't fit in his pants pocket or whatever, and he had left his wallet with me. And so I called him the next day to be like, "Oh my God, you forgot your wallet." And he's like, "Oh, go buy yourself something and then just drop it off at my father's
Did he
store."
he robbed somebody? Was this not his wallet? I feel like this is gonna go down a dark
Okay.
trail.
No, it was
Okay,
fine. He was
well,
11 years older than me. He was a very, very successful businessman.
okay.
But I was like, I went on one date with you. I'm not for sale. My girlfriend was like, "So what time are we meeting at Macy's?" I was like, "We not going to Macy's. His daddy owned a liquor store up here. I'm gonna drop it off on Northern Boulevard." And she was just like, "You mean what you mean we're not going to Macy's? Well, how come we not going to Macy's?" She's like, "Bitch, we not going to Macy's." And I dropped it off at his dad's place because I was like, I I have not lived in New York that long, but this something about this is sus.
Okay, okay. I'm
And we dated on and off for a long time, but, he always led with his money.
okay.
That's what he did. I didn't know, it just felt icky to me,
Mhm.
and I was like, "This is weird."
And some people use that as a way, especially if they're kind of insecure, like, they think that's all I have. Like, "Hey."
Yes,
Yeah, and that
yes.
yeah,
As a
wow.
shock to absolutely no one, he married a woman who was a gold digger and then was shocked that he married a woman that was a gold digger and used to say to me, "I can't believe she's a gold digger." And I said, "You've always," I mean, we ultimately became friends. In
Yeah.
fact, we're still friends, but not good friends. But I was like, "You've always led with your money. Of course you married a woman who was a gold digger." And he was like, "How would she know?" I said, "Did you do the wallet trick with her like you did with me?" He was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's my signature move."
But so I w
Oh, and she was down at the Macy's. I was not.
I wouldn't find that attractive. Do you know what I mean? Because to me, I'm like, "Why?" That would be weird to me.
It
Mm-mm,
was weird. I
mm-mm.
just didn't get it. I was
Mm.
like, I don't know what this is about. I didn't get it. But I was like, "You're not for me." And when my husband showed interest, I let him know in no uncertain terms, "Oh, you're not qualified to date me." And he was like, "I'm sorry, what?" We worked together. And
Okay.
I was like, I am a single parent, and my baby, who is now 28,
Mm.
was maybe 2. I was like, "I am a single parent. I have this very fancy job here." Child's a secretary. "I have this very fancy job here in this nice office, and you, good sir, are a temporary employee here. I don't date temps. I need someone with a good and bright future. You're not qualified to
Benefit.
date me."
I need, like, so when I dated my husband, he had insurance. I didn't like it took a while for, not but I asked my husband because we had been dating for I think like a year and a half or so. I was like, "Hey, is this going anywhere anytime soon? Because if not, I'm moving to Europe." Like I just like I'm going like, "Hey," like because I can.
I got things to
Right?
do.
I got like, you like Virginia. I would like to travel a little bit more.
Something more.
And so yeah,
Something more.
he proposed within like a few months. Yeah.
Well, my husband and I, like, he kept sort of coming to my desk and coming to my desk, and I was like, "No." And then finally he said, "What would it take for
Oh.
me to be able to even take you to lunch? Like, what you keep
Oh.
saying I'm not qualified. What are the qualifications?" And so I said, "I need a man with a permanent," like, I was like, "I'm barely getting by at this very fancy job I have as a secretary." I was like, "But I need somebody who's at least working as hard as I'm working. You're here as a temp employee." Used to wear a gold pot leaf earring. I said, "You think you're cute up in this corporate setting with a gold pot leaf earring. That is why you are a temporary employee without a real job. I have benefits." I was so bougie and so nasty and so better than you. It was ridiculous. I look at old me and I was like, "What was this heifer thinking?" But I let him know. I was like, "No, I had this baby, I stepped my game all the way up, and I want somebody who can meet me where I'm at." And it took him 2 years,
Mhm.
and he disappeared, and he came back, and he's like, "I have a solid job at a very, very well-known company, and I have benefits, and you see the pot leaf earring is gone, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that." And I said, "I will allow you to take me to lunch." And he took me to lunch, and his manners were bad, and I said, "You did better, but your manners were bad, so I'm sorry, I cannot go
I
out with
hated
you."
my hands. I probably would've
No,
Did I
and
order
then he was like,
ribs on our first date? I think I ordered I don't remember what I did. I don't remember. I'll have to ask my husband
Yeah.
what I ordered on our first
He
date.
ate with his mouth open. His
Oh,
mama still eat with her mouth open. But, he ate with his mouth open, and I was just like, "Your manners were terrible." He was just a nice human, but he kept being nice to me, no matter how nasty I was, and I was like, "No, here's where the bar is." And he was like, "Okay, da 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 da." But he kept meeting me where I was, and ultimately, he was like, "I'd like to take you to the movies." And I was like, "We'll see." And we went to a movie, it worked out. We've been together ever since.
I'm gonna act like I took my ADHD meds this morning. So, with the case, you
Yes.
mentioned cross-examination, because I've seen in the chat, some people were a little upset that cross-examination was not long. What did
Yes.
you think?
Okay, so for those who have not seen The Cross, I'm gonna spoil it for you, so govern yourself accordingly. If you need to skip ahead, I understand. Similar to the opening statements, right? The state got up and said, "Y'all not gonna believe this," and sat down. And then the defense got up and gave a long, sad story. With this cross-examination, the defendant takes the stand and gives a long she talked about every feeling and every blade of grass and everything. And the state got up and asked maybe 4 or 5 questions, right? She was like, "Did you buy the gun? Did you go to his house? Did you shoot him up?" And the girl was like, Tosh was like, "Well, see, well, what happened was,"
Yes or
and
no?
the attorney was like, "It's a yes or no question. Did you shoot him?" It's like, "Well, yes." And then then the state sat down, and people were upset because they wanted this girl to get drilled. But this is what I think:
Mm.
that prosecution can see the jury, and we cannot. The prosecution, in my opinion, knows that the jury is with them.
Okay.
They know we're not gonna have to work too hard. We can go give a big dog and pony show and wear this jury out, but we will be the friend of the jury. We will be mindful of their time and not talk about every little blade of grass that she saw on the way to shoot this man. We're just gonna get up, say what we have to say, and sit down. That's my opinion.
Do you see Northwest question?
I'm seeing this right. Question: Why was her 2023 book dedicated to her living devoted husband? I assume that's supposed to be loving devoted husband.
Is she
Maybe
married?
she got married while she's in jail. Okay, somebody Google. Hang on. I know this heifer did not get married again. She's real zen and stuff. She's like, "I promise to love, honor, and not shoot you." Hang on.
As
What's her
long as
name?
you, like, love me and never leave me.
Well, she gonna be in the same spot, so
Oh,
she gonna
wow.
know her husband's gonna know where she's at. This happen do you what do you think the jury is gonna find?
So, I think the state did a short cross because the details of her childhood don't matter. They asked
Yep.
the psychologist the mental health questions, um, and they're not asking about her state of mind, like, none of that is even an issue here, and so,
Right.
I think if they had dug into her too bad or tried to catch her in a lie, I think that made her look like a victim. Do you know, I think
Yeah.
she could have flipped that, and it could have
Yep.
looked like they were being insensitive, or like they didn't, because let's say, you know, they did have a moment that went too far or something like that. Like that's not to minimize
Mhm.
any of that, but report that crime or talk about it with your therapist, or but you can't buy the thing, show up at the person's house and do this to them and the wife
Right.
in the
And
children.
then say, "Oops." And then say, "Oops." I saw this question that I thought was really good and important.
Hmm.
Dr. Berry, I thought we were gonna talk about her dissertation because her dissertation was talking about gossip, rumor, and innuendos in the Black community or something like that. And I was like, "Oh." What was the title of her dissertation? It was
So
about basically like chatter between women.
I have it pulled up. Relational aggression among African
Mm,
American adolescent females. She, I think, has a doctorate in social work from
she
Walden
does.
University. That part didn't come up. They didn't mention the doc. They only mentioned the masters. They didn't
Yep.
mention the doctorate, because if she finished her dissertation, I'm guessing she finished her doctorate. But
Yeah.
she dedicated it to her father, the man, and that could be true. Like, it could be that
Yeah.
she has this mixed relationship and, but he's deceased and he can't say what did or did not happen. Um,
Right.
but yes, she studied relational aggression because I don't think we've talked enough about the fact that she was an anger management specialist.
Yes.
I
How
don't think we've talked about that enough.
that part of it kind of blows my mind. It has not been brought up in court, which
Mm.
I think is very interesting. But what are your thoughts on her being an anger management specialist and domestic violence specialist, and then going out and committing a heinous act of domestic violence while not managing her anger well?
You said all that with a straight face.
Girl.
So that's why I wanted to talk about this one because
Yeah.
that to me, so I don't want people to look at this and say, "This is why I don't go to therapy." Do you know what I mean? Because to me,
Mm,
this was
mhm.
one bad actor that wasn't
Yeah.
healing herself, but that's not
Yep.
everybody. So there are therapists that do their own work, and you can kind of
Mhm.
tell when somebody isn't doing their own work, because it's my understanding that they were meeting and having lunch at her office every day. And I don't know that it was only lunch. I could imagine. Do you know what I mean? You didn't see do you remember that part? They were meeting,
Mhm.
like she was cooking for him and
I was gonna say she was cooking. Mhm.
every day he would show up to he had the code to her office and if she was with a client, he would warm up his food. And I I don't even cook for my husband every day.
Girl. If it was not for Hungry Root, my husband would starve to death, bless him. But like,
You
mm,
have to reach out
mm,
to Hungry Root for a partnership or something, but no.
oh, I should.
You really should. But with her being an anger management specialist, and I wonder if they're not bringing it up because it could just, like, prejudice the jury. I don't but they do know that she's a licensed social worker. And then that's
Yeah.
when I know with the forensic psychologist, the state asked or talked about the importance of mental health professionals. Like, can they
Mhm.
seek their own mental health treatment? Yes. Can a mental health
Right.
professional have their own mental health issues? Yes, but if it starts to impact their practice, they're supposed to stop. So, like, right
Right.
now, I'm not accepting new clients that are dealing with grief because I have my own stuff I'm working on. And so, like, and then any clients I do have that are coping with grief, I can get supervision or consultation just to make sure that, like, my stuff isn't bleeding over to a
Mhm.
and so we're allowed to still have but like you have to make sure that like you're managing things. And so the fact that she seemed like, oh, like it's just I'm just very concerned and I feel bad for her patients. Can you imagine like if this was your therapist that got arrested for
Yikes.
their
Yikes.
boyfriend who was married and shooting his wife? Like, so my heart breaks for them and I hope that they found, good, stable client
Appropriate.
and
Yeah.
that can help them work on those things. Cause yeah, my heart
Yeah.
breaks for her clients. But that's where I'm like, because you can know it in your head and not do the things. So there
For
are
sure.
marriage therapists that have horrible marriages because you
Mhm.
know how to have good communication, but if you don't apply what you know, you're gonna be
Mhm.
a hot mess. And so that's where that's how I see it, that
Yeah.
she was not practicing what she was preaching, clearly.
I mean, it's like they say, what is the shoemaker's children have no
Mm,
shoes or something like that, whatever that saying is. Wait, Bible lady says she thanked her husband for a beautiful level 3 relationship.
level
Did
3?
she get married in jail?
I don't know.
Maybe she did. But you know what? It's been 6 years.
Yeah,
She seems like the kind of woman who needs to be partnered.
yeah,
I mean, for some people, men, women, gender nonconforming individuals, whatever. For
yeah.
some people, it's very important for them to be partnered with somebody else. It was being I didn't I grew up to want to be married, right? I was told and taught like you need to be married, you need to be married, you need to be married. I never wanted to be married as much as I wanted to be partnered well.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was like, if I'm partnered well and that turns into marriage, great. But like, I didn't want to just like have some other person to say, oh, hey, look, I have a ring. P.S. I don't even wear my ring.
I have
I
it on
got
today.
wedding ring.
I don't always wear it. I don't
I
always wear
wear
it.
an aura ring. Like if you didn't know me, you might think I was single because I never wear my ring. I got wedding ring dermatitis a few years
Oh,
ago, and I'm like, oh, it's a pain in the neck. If you know me, you know I'm married. If not, not. My commitment is to my spouse. I don't need to
and
advertise to the world.
I don't need a ring. So like, but
Yeah.
so because sometimes I just forget to put it on. Um,
Hmm.
I'll never forget when my husband proposed. I was like, oh my gosh, because it's a beautiful ring. And then I was like, so what band goes with it? And he was like, I'm not done. I was like, okay, if I keep up with this ring for for so many years, okay, that's when I'll ask
Right.
for a band. But
That's
I'll,
so
I'll,
funny.
I'll probably never ask for a band because I barely keep up with this.
I
Um,
got married. I got engaged without a ring because we had been
uh,
together for so long. Because we just were like, what's next to be done in this relationship? It wasn't about, I want to get to this point so I can get married. I
I
already owned a
needed
home.
to be
I
on his
already had a
meter.
kid.
I needed, and he had good government benefits. I needed.
I mean, we had been, by the time we got legally married, we'd been together for 8 years and had 3 kids and had bought 3 houses. People
Oh,
were like, it's about time. Yeah, you put a ring on it. And I was like, whatever. We ultimately decided that we were gonna get married, and, we made the decision, and then we were like, "Oh, yeah, we should probably buy some rings too." Like, it was literally that was the conversation.
men's rings are cheap because his ring was more like his ring was cheap. The ring I bought for him, I got it engraved, but like it was super cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plain gold bands. We each had plain my wedding ring today is still a plain gold band. I have upgraded my husband's rings because
Oh,
he's a jewelry person. I
bless it.
still have my original plain gold band that I never wear
Oh,
because I got better things to do with my time. He I love him.
he's a plus size.
He knows I talk about him on YouTube. And it's funny, his picture is somewhere on the set in the back. He always wants to be like mysterious. He doesn't want anybody to see his face. I'm like, okay, whatever. Nobody's thinking about you that hard, but
Oh.
it's fine. But this relationship, these people,
Mm,
I don't know if she has gotten married. I'm sure the internet will internet, and somebody will be able to find out.
mm.
Ultimately, I wish her health and happiness, whatever that looks like, in prison. I think she gonna need that help and happiness in prison. Maybe Tennessee has conjugal visits. I have no idea, but
And
I think she's going
she
down.
said not guilty, right? Like
Yeah,
she said not guilty. And even
yeah,
their expert didn't say that there was like diminished that she did not I don't know, like because all the expert said was that maybe the mental health impacted what she did, but I didn't
right,
hear that like she shouldn't be held legally responsible for
right.
what she did.
They're going for a lesser included. They're
Okay.
going for
Secondary okay,
something that's not.
manslaughter maybe, but
Yes. Yeah, manslaughter, and what was the other one? It was like reckless endangerment for shooting the wife and
oh.
manslaughter for shooting Brodus. I have still not been able to get into Brodus's phone low these 6 years later. I suspect that Brodus had a whole lot of secrets that we still don't know about. All those videos that we saw in court came about because the other women in his book group called the police and were like, hey girl, hey, have we got some videos for you? And they turned in over 30 videos
What
about
did
this
you
man.
think of the videos?
I looked at the videos and I was like, who is dating this man?
He
Who
he
is
seemed like
dating this
a liar.
man?
It's just like it was not attractive to me at all. Like it it gave me an ick. Like
Hardcore. Hardcore.
but I
He
am
just
not
jumped
an
on.
so everybody so I have worked with clients in open relationships and open marriages as a
Yeah,
therapist. I am if that is what you do, I am all for you. But for me and my
right.
marriage, it's very closed. And
Yeah,
we've talked about it. No. And
yeah.
so the minute somebody's talking ethical, But like for like trying to talk to me and talk about ethical non-monogamy, no thanks.
Well, I'll tell you this about ethical non-monogamy. I know people who are in ethically non-monogamous relationships, and I admire it. I
Yeah,
would not want it for myself,
it's not my
but
thing.
I'm just like, okay, do you boo? But when I was young, in
Mhm,
I guess in college,
mhm.
I was in sort of an ethical non-monogamous relationship, although that's not what we called it. I was madly in love with a man and thought I would spend the rest of my life with him, despite the fact that he was super duper gay. And I thought my love would overcome
No,
his gayness.
no,
Turns out that's not how that works.
no.
And so he proposed the idea that we have an
Oh,
open relationship
okay, okay.
so that he could kiss boys and I could kiss boys. But also, I was 19 years old and a virgin and had only ever kissed basically him. And
Oh,
so he was like, we're so young. Obviously, we're going to be together forever, but you go kiss some boys and I'll go kiss some boys. And then we'll get back together and talk about it. We were like good girlfriends.
oh.
And so, in his imagining, we would both go out and kiss a bunch of boys. But what really happened was I went out and kissed a bunch of boys and he sat home mad and jealous.
Not
It
funny.
worked out fine for me. It worked out great.
Oh,
But after that, I was like,
no.
that was really, really fun. Now I know which boys I really like, and he figured out which boys he really liked, and I decided I liked boys who liked girls instead of boys who liked boys.
Yeah.
It was a learning time. So that was my foray into ethical non-monogamy, but since we've been discussing it, there's a woman who is like a specialist in ethical non-monogamy
Mhm.
who has asked to come on my channel and discuss what's that Bible the Bible, the ethical slut is like the polyamory Bible.
Huh?
She and I are going to do a phone a friend on open
And
relationships.
to me, both people just have to really be okay because it sounded
Yeah.
like Brodus was trying to pressure his wife because she admitted multiple times he would ask her about this and she just consistently said no. And if it's truly
Yes.
ethical, like to me, both people should be on the same
Of
page.
course.
There's some people that say because even so, Latasha said that she told him no, he couldn't, and also it's on his video that he wanted to date other
Right.
people, and his girlfriend that's a therapist wouldn't,
Mhm.
wasn't for that. And so, but being able to, like she was able to set that boundary, even though she didn't
Yes.
set other boundaries with him. But I think that was because I don't think she could tolerate him being with somebody else. And I think people have to be honest with themselves. Like,
Right.
would you be okay with that? And if you're not,
Mhm.
you need to be honest and there needs to be open communication. And that person that might need that open relationship, if you can't be okay with them being in an open, because they might not be able to be monogamous. There's some people that don't
Right.
believe in monogamy. And so y'all might not
Right.
be a good match if one person
Right.
wants an open relationship and the other person doesn't. Like people just have to be
Yes.
sometimes, so love is not enough. Love
Right.
in
Of
and of itself,
course.
like you have to make sure to like there are other things that have to align in
For
relationship,
sure.
and season 9 of Love is Blind is enough. And if you didn't watch, oh, it's a mess. Oh, if you want a messy, if you just
Mhm.
want to binge a messy mess, and you can probably skip through a lot of it. Season 9 of Love is Blind is just, even from the pods, it's just like people ghosted people in the pods. Like some people, yeah, people just didn't come back in the pods. Like,
Yikes.
like,
I mean, when I was they used to say in church, you have to be equally yoked,
mhm,
right? But it's like you have to have shared values with
yes.
somebody, whatever that is. If both of you really value ethical non-monogamy, then show up and be polyamorous and be really honest with yourselves about what that relationship is and what it is and how we're going to move forward. I think that's a beautiful thing if you can make it work. What's the show that I love watching? Seeking Sister Wife, where all these couples are trying to
I don't
navigate.
I don't like it when it's only because sometimes it can seem misogynistic when the man gets
Yeah,
to have all these women, because what the women
yeah,
are supposed to get out of it is that now we have these shared, But, like, and some women love being a sister wife, and that's what they want, that's
Right.
what they enjoy. But, like, wait a minute, you're out here with these and I can't have a husband? Like, I can't like, I can't I got questions.
Yeah.
It's just
Polyandry. But I'm like, do I want 2 husbands? I'm good with 1.
I'm
Like, he's plenty. He's plenty. Plenty. But it's like,
I'm
look,
plenty.
same. Same. I jokingly refer to my husband had a baby with his high school girlfriend, right? And so they had this baby and then they broke up and then they've been co-parenting for 34 years, 35 years at this point. So we're all like they kind of grew up together with their kid, whatever. We're all sort of one big happy family. And I jokingly refer to her as my sister wife
Aw.
because calling her the baby's mama when the baby is 30, I think he's 36 now. He not a baby.
And
He's
and
not a baby.
and I don't know if my mom is still in the chat. So I have a stepmom, and my
Right.
mom loves my stepmom. Do you know what I mean? Because so my parents
Mhm,
got divorced shortly after I was born. My dad
mhm.
met hit my stepmom, and then they got married within like a year. And so I've known her all of my life. I absolutely adore
Right.
my stepmom. But my mom wasn't, like, I think my dad watches sometimes. I won't say anything more. We're good. So my husband does not watch my channel. I can say whatever I want. He can probably hear it
Yeah,
live.
same,
He tunes me out.
same. Mine's not even home. Even if he were here, he'd have headphones on and he'd be listening to his own podcast. He's real sick of me in this whole true crime thing. I promise you. But it's like I get the sister wife thing if that's what you want to do. I call my husband's baby's mom my sister wife. Number 1, because she and I both think it's hilarious. Number 2, because it annoys him and that I get a kick out of that. But we are family. We have co-parented children together for the past 24 years. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we're a big happy family. We're blended.
Because
We're this
my
blended family.
my half brother walked my mom, because my mom, she has a favorite. I have 3 siblings from my dad and my stepmom. And so
Right.
one of my brothers is her favorite, and she was like, I want him to at your wedding, I want for him to be the one that, and he was the one
Escorts you down.
that walked her. I
That's so
tried
cute.
I tried to put my dad at her table for the reception, and she was like, so she paid for the wedding. Our photographer was expensive, and my dad paid for he was a very expensive photographer. My dad paid for that, and my mom was like, I'm the one signing the check for this. She was like, that's my table, because I wanted this big happy, like, oh, y'all all sit. She
Right.
was like,
Right.
that's my table. His table can be right over there.
That's hilarious. That look, my parents could never be in the same room.
So
Never, never, never.
they can be in the same room, but she just out for the wedding, she paid for that part. She was like, I'm doing the bill for the reception. I have some He is not sitting at my table. Nope. Nope.
That's
Nope.
hilarious. Yeah, I mean, listen, my parents divorced when I was a baby as well, and my
But like me.
first stepmother was at court with my father, pregnant, when, they were going through the divorce.
Huh?
And so, like, I have a bunch of stepmothers, all of whom I believe they're all dead now, as is my father. It's not that they were that old, they just were hard partying people and it caught up with them. Um, but my mom ain't like none of them. She did not like near one. She was not calling nobody a sister wife. She did good to call them by their government names and didn't call them that old itch over there. You know what I mean? It was not a good situation. But it's like everybody's family, everybody's situation kind of works out how it works out. I feel lucky and blessed that I adore my sister wife.
Mm.
It was never an ethical non-monogamy type situation. She moved on. She had other kids. She did all of her whatever she was going to do with her life, and God bless. But the thing that is so unethical, and so crazy about Brodus Perry is that he surrounded himself with these women who said, "No, I don't want to do this thing." And he said, "Oh, okay, let me just tell lies to this other lady over here." Yeah, I'm gonna. He just was lying to literally every single person in his life.
And I think the defense was the one that played those, and I think they wanted I think they wanted to play that. You know, I think they but
Yeah.
to me, he's still no matter what type of, like, yes, he was having an affair, blah, blah, blah. He probably a liar, blah, blah, blah. But you're not in this country. You can't just pew pew people. Now, if she had walked
Mhm.
in, like as if the wife had walked in on a situation, and because that's more in the heat of the moment, but
Mhm.
like you drove, you did. I think he was confident. I think he never thought she would do anything to him.
Yeah, I agree. I
I
agree.
think
I
I
think he
think he
thought she'll
probably
do something to herself.
Mhm,
She's this sad sack,
mhm.
and I feel like she sort of has walked through the world like I spent part of my life being like, "Oh, I'm so strong, I'm so big, whatever." But privately, I'm this sad sack. I feel like to some degree their relationship was like a BDSM relationship because he was very, very demeaning from her pretty much from go. And she just kept, like, trying to make it better and trying to fix him and trying to fix this already broken relationship. You started on lies and deceit. From day one, it was lies and deceit. Even if she was not sure, she knew from the beginning, "I'm married, he's married, we're lying to each other, I have to download this app," or whatever, like, the whole thing was messy.
And, so I see this question about the letter, and it was a goodbye note that she
Yes.
wrote. And it wasn't before this. I don't think that was before this incident. I think it was a different, or was it this incident
No, it was before this
or this
incident.
one?
Hang on
Okay.
for a second.
Mhm.
What is your question?
See the container for
Container for what?
the
The
letter.
dog food?
Yeah,
It's in a can. It's in a can in the refrigerator. I'm on live stream, my love.
They
Um,
don't care about YouTube. Nobody nobody
in my house,
Nope.
they could care
My
less.
son comes in and has full conversations. I'm just like, "Excuse me, chat, hold on, let me," and I'm clearly like, I'm he's just like,
The light is on. I'm talking to my computer. Yeah. My family don't give a F. Anyway, she wrote a book for this right before she was sad. He broke up with her on a disappearing text,
Yeah.
and she's like, he took my previous gun, I'm going to go buy a new gun, but first let me write this letter. It was a letter that she left in her phone. So I'm like, was it a voice note? Was it a text message? It
Might have been
sounded
like,
like
no.
an academy it sounded like an Academy Award speech. I would
They
also
they
like I would like to thank God and all the
they had her
neighbors.
read it. They had her read it on the stand.
When I
And
saw
I
that it
think
was she's
and I
turning
think and
pages.
I think that was for emotion. I think they were
Yes,
trying, because that was understandably, like, 'cause she's saying goodbye to her children, to her mother, all of
right.
those things, and I agree with you. She might have thought that the police were going to use lethal with her, and I'm glad that they
Yeah,
did. I'm
yeah.
glad that they were able to subdue her peacefully, and that they weren't harmed, and
Mhm.
that she didn't harm anybody else, um, in
I've
in
never
that
heard of
moment.
less lethal. This is the first case where I've ever heard of a
Mm.
le I've heard of them using them in jails and stuff like that to shoot people but not harm them. But in a field situation and the cops said, "We would have been within our rights to shoot her with a lethal round."
Somebody said that she dropped out of character for a bit, so I felt like the emotion, it felt weird at times as
Mhm.
she was talking, or even during parts of her testimony. It just seemed like there were times where she came off angry, and she's over here like,
Yeah.
"I'm not mad," but, like, she seemed and like she wanted to punish him when she was
Yes.
like, "I wanted him to watch me do this so that he could feel all the pain." So did you just say, "Okay, I'm just gonna cause you pain and
Right.
do it?"
She
It's
there
very
was
tiny.
something It was something, she doesn't read as authentic to me. I read her as very disconnected.
Yeah.
And when they talked about her putting the gun in her mouth and in her head and in her chest, and I was like, is she just crossing herself? That's all I could think is like she just up here doing
I'm
all
thinking
of
head,
this.
shoulders, knees, and toes. I'm sorry. Like, that's like
Seriously, so that they would use a lethal round so that she
Mhm.
can complete her ideation fantasy without having to pull a trigger. Like, the whole thing was so bizarre to me, but
Mhm.
I was like, "She's acting out a one-act play up here, and I don't get what this is about, but ma'am, I'm not buying what you're selling." Even if I believed every single word that she said, like you said, she still committed a crime.
Somebody said that she looked mad with Cross. Did you?
Yeah.
Like that they didn't ask her more questions?
I don't know that
Okay.
I think she wanted to be able to use cross-examination um to her advantage,
Okay.
right? If they keep her up there and ask her a bunch of questions, she can look like the supreme sad sack. But
Mhm.
the state was like,
Yeah.
"Nah, girl."
Did you? Yes. Did you? Okay. And so if
Mhm.
you were on the jury, would you do first degree?
Yes.
Second, yeah. For to me, like
Yes.
you bought it on your like to me, there's just so much planning that's going into
Mhm.
all of this. And
Mhm.
then yeah, I would be first degree as
Yeah. I don't even think they're gonna be out long. I'm looking the way the state is reacting, in my opinion, the state knows they have this jury. The state
Mhm.
knows they have this jury. Yeah, in the chat, tell us what do you think, first degree or manslaughter? Um, I think can I go out with friends to get food soon? Wait, what? What is he
Supposed to go out with friends to get some food.
after I
Oh.
feed the dog after you feed the dogs?
And so just take a breath, chat.
Please hold while I scream at my son for a second. Hang on.
So, chat, if it takes a while for the jury to come back, this will be the first time the jury is able to talk together. So, they might want to talk through aspects of the evidence. They may want to talk through some things. And so, please do not get too anxious if it does take a little bit of time for the jury to come back. All right.
The negotiation with these children while I am on live stream. Girl.
Like, but that's when they're gonna ask you questions because you'll probably say yes, but maybe you might have thought about it a little bit. So make sure to be consistent. That's your free advice for today. So because sometimes my son will do that. So before I go live, I tell him,
Just open a fresh can of dog food then. Look in the cabinet above the air fryer. There are cans of dog food. Please just open a can of dog food or get Jordan to help you. Oh my God. Every goddamn thing in this house is invisible unless I'm looking for it. I can't. Sorry. This is me not being perfect on live stream.
"You're
If I walk in there and I open that refrigerator and that dog food is right in the front, I'm gonna
probably
lose my doggone mind. Okay, sorry.
take a breath
Um,
and use all of your skills." Woosah.
my youngest is 18. Everybody in this house is grown except for these dogs.
No, and so
Find anything
um
ever.
I went to my 8-year-old's parent-teacher conference, and the teacher looked me in the eye, and he was like, "He's doing a great job." Like, because I mentioned to her, "Hey, he has some issues with executive function, meaning completing
Right.
tasks, doing things." And, she was like, "I don't see any issues with executive function." I was like, "Can I see his desk?" She points over this child's desk has all the papers since August. Because I was like I was like, "Nothing's coming home. Nothing." Like, and
Mhm.
so I start going through his desk. She's like, "Oh, I was looking for that pass." I was looking no issues with executive dysfunction. Okay, but, like, I'm over here, we got snacks, we got used, popsicle tops, and so it was it was awesome. Yeah. So doing things I'll never and then another story, one time my mom was watching him, I think he was 6 or 7. My husband and I went on a date, and when we came back, as soon as I get in the house, he's like, "I'm so hungry." And I look at my mom and I was like, "You didn't feed him lunch?" And she's like, "I asked him he was hungry." He kept saying he wasn't hungry. I was like, he doesn't realize he's hungry until he sees me.
Right.
So
There's something magical that happens in his brain. He's just like,
Tish,
"The 2 of you can't find
I
dog
knew
food?"
I knew his desk would be that way because that was my desk as a child. He got it from
Please
mom.
hold
He
for
did
1 second so my dogs don't starve to death. Please keep talking. I'm gonna go get this dog food.
My child did not get it from his dad. He totally got it from me. 100%. It was from me. I used to have to clean out my desk every Friday. That was in my locker. I had to clean out my locker like once a month. Like my locker was where things went to go away. And so yep, they haven't done closings yet, I don't think. I think Latosha testified and there was cross-examination today. And there'll probably be closings, I'm guessing, tomorrow. But like I said, breathe just in case the verdict does take a minute. The jury might want to talk. Okay. They might want to talk. I need to go feed my kid. Any closing thoughts?
Okay. Closing thoughts are don't be a Latasha. Of
Don't do-
course, the dog food was right in there with something sitting in front of it, which rendered it clearly invisible. Yeah, the closing thoughts are it's okay to not be okay.
Yes.
And you can fall apart about the thing that's happening right now. Like, if you need to push off falling apart till tomorrow, then put it on your calendar. This is the time I have set aside to cry about that thing that happened yesterday. But if you let it pile up and pile up and pile up, you don't want it to explode all over somebody else. Like poor Miss, what was her name? Tabitha, who didn't do anything to this lady.
Nothing.
But Tasha's going to have life without the possibility of parole to think about her actions.
Messy.
You, Madam Therapist, closing thoughts?
And so love is not enough. You can love somebody, and sometimes you have to love yourself more. And I wish she had loved herself a little bit more and taken some time to heal those broken parts of herself. You can't love somebody else. And so to me, she needed to put her mask on because she's out here trying to fix other people, and she's drowning. And so sometimes you need to take time and take care of you. And you can, if you believe in faith, you can also believe in some therapy too. Sometimes you need a life person. You need to sit down with somebody that can say, like, you might need some medication, you might need some intensive therapy, you might need whatever, because this was not okay. I wish I broke up with him. Do you know what I mean? Like, and just went on and lived her life, be happy, because now her life is forever changed. And so is it's a mess.
The people at that church, the people in that community, those first responders who had to deal with it, the poor people in the ICU when she ran away from the police and had to be tackled in the ICU, they're like, I'm just over here to see my mama who was sick. And now I got a crazy lady and now it's on the news. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't have to go that far. Fill your own cup. Good people of the internet, whoever you are, wherever you are when you see this right now or 10 years from now, you are worthy. You are enough. You have the power to heal yourself with help. All right, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to Dr. Patrice Berry so much. Please keep an eye out for the ethical non-monogamous who will come here to be doing our Phone a Friend so we can talk about the ins and outs of ethical non-monogamy. Good night, y'all. We'll see you soon. I can never make this damn thing stop.
Dear true crime friends, we clutch our pearls and laugh again. We all gather around. Kathy has a story to tell, our favorite comedian. Heifer, please, I don't have the free time unless you got the scoop again. Here for the gossip, rumor, and innuendo. I will live for today until the endless heaven buffet takes me away. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 hey. The world is filled with chaos muppets that like people to kick the bucket from Idaho, Iowa, and everywhere in between. Heifer, please, boncation in the first degree. Heifer, please, come solve the case with me. Here for the gossip, rumor, and in until the endless heaven buffet takes me away. Yeah.
Come here, not Spike. Come here, bye, not Spike.